Hello there, my name is Philios DM, and in today's video I thought I'd go over some of the things I use in my D&D campaign. Some things to make my life easier, and something I just found that is very good for DMs. I'm not saying every DM should use it, and if you're arty, by all means don't use programs like this. But if you're like me and you can't draw to save your life, this is the perfect tool. Now, the first thing I thought to go over is Dungeon Alchemist. Now, Dungeon Alchemist is a very clever program. It allows me to create maps very quickly and with various different customizations. So let's say, for example, I wanted to do a tavern. Let's say I had an encounter set for tavern. I can go here, whack the Great Hall in, press the tick, and there is the tavern. See, very basic. There's a ladder going off nowhere. Don't know where that's going. And as you can see here, it's got everything set up. It's already laid out, and it's a very clever tool. Now, if you're not happy with some of the furniture within the room, you can go over here, click on it, and then press refresh room, and it will do everything over again. See, that's a little bit nicer. There's the fireplace there. There's actually the bar, and then let's say, okay, that's cool. There's the Great Hall, but we need a hallway leading into some bedrooms. All right. So I'll just go over here to the draw room bit. Tavern, hallway, do this, hit the tick button. That gives me a hallway. Okay, we need a couple of bedrooms. Let's do very small bedrooms. So write that one there and pop that one there as well. And as you can see there, I have, in very quick amount of time, made a tavern. It's not a particularly big tavern, but it just was something I was able to do very quickly. So this is also handy for if your players, as often we find, go off the beaten track and end up getting into some sort of altercation with people you didn't expect. You can use Dungeon Alchemist very quickly to make a map. Of course, the downside to this is if you don't have a monitor or even like a projector, of course, this won't necessarily work for you. But you could also use this for inspiration, even as such, just describing what's there, basing it on the fact of what you've created here. Now, obviously, once the map is done and you want to export it so you can put it on your monitor, you go to File and Export, and there you can export the image. It already does a top down, and as you see here, it's kind of an isometric view, so you can see the walls are 3D. Now, if you just want it to be flat, you can make it be orthographic, and therefore it just looks like your standard map. But if you want it to have a little bit of perspective, perspective, you can see there the walls. Now, it doesn't just need to be a still image. As you can see, if I zoom in very closely, you can see the lights animate. There's flickering. And that means you could also do this as a video. Now, it takes longer to export as a video, so it wouldn't be anything you'd be able to do straight away. But if you wanted to have that done and have it animated, that's a very clever use of it. Now, there's another thing you can do if you're using Dungeon Alchemist and you're finding the map's not quite going the way you want it to. There is a lovely use of. There's a load of people made. As you can see here, there's a load of maps here that you can select most popular, last month, all time, and there are various different maps that you can either take inspiration from, or if that's exactly what was in your head, by all means, subscribe to it and then load it up. So let's use my example. So I had in my game a flying ship. So I was like, oh, cool, flying ship. I open a map, ship. So I'd go open map. You have unsaved changes. If you don't want to save them, just say yes. And then it will take a second to load up, depending on the size of the map. And here we go. Here is a map someone else created, which is a flying ship. And as you pop it to the top down, you've got the decks. And this is a very clever map. And as I said, this is for people who are far more creative than I am. But yeah, that is Dungeon Alchemist. As I said, it's not for everyone, and it's not necessarily something everyone can use. You need a decent enough laptop. For me, mine isn't anything spectacular and it can run it fairly well. But those are the limitations. And now we're on to the second tool that I will be using. This is something I got very recently. This is called Canvas of Kings. This, as like Dungeon Alchemist, you can find on Steam. Found this because I like doing village and city maps, and I was using Incarnate to do it before. Now, Incarnate is also a very good tool, but this has a means to generate it as you go. Now, let's use the example I'm going to have in my world a place called Gunza that eventually the party will go to. Gunza is a walled city that has a rather large lake next to it. So, in order to make the lake, all I'd have to do is go here on plot tool, and you can see there, lake. Alrighty, so, and then all I would do is click there. Let's go quite far away, just make a big lake. Click again, keep going. As you see, it's very geometric, but you can smooth it out after. But there we go, and then we right click once that's done. So now we want to make that a little bit smoother. So we've got these. And then you stretch that along, you smooth it out, and there you go, you've got a nice curve. And then you can just do that for the remainder. So there we go. We have a lake, and also it's animated. As you can see, the ripples are rippling. Don't think that's the right word, but there we are. Okay, so there's a lake. Now we need to do the walled off city. So it's the path tool. As you can see here, the ones I'll be using are these walls. So you've got palisades if you want to do a smaller place. But this is a big city. So now we've got these walls with these large crenellations. Now, what you want to do, in order to make sure the crenellations are facing outwards instead of inwards, you'd have to start from the down and work your way up and not up, way down. So, same thing as you did before. You click, and then you just click again where you want the other tower to be, and then you just keep going until you've got a roundabout shape that you like. Sometimes it won't load in, but that's fine. So keep clicking. There we go. Nice big. And right click, and there we are. That is done. Let's turn snap paths on for the next bit. Alrighty. And now, as you see, we have an outer wall. Now, of course, this is very bare bones, but as you can see, that was very quick and very easy. Now, let's say here we need a gate. So we can click these buttons here, or as you can also see the shortcut key here, R. There we go. And we have a gate. And if you zoom in, there you go. There's the gate. Now we click that again. All right, we want to give it a little bit of decoration. So as you see here, F to add or remove deco. So press F, and there we go. We have some boxes. Press F again. It just cycles through, and it keeps going, and it will keep going until you find something you like. So we got a little hook. And it's the same for R. You just keep going, and then there you go. You can use these gear icons as well. So as you can see, I click that a few times. We've got a gate. Click that a few times, and it changes. Now, we've got a gate. Amazing. We don't have a path or a road. So let's go over here, and as you can see, it's a wide dirt road, paved road, stone road, or a patternless path. I will be using paved road. Now, let's pop snap the paths on. And that means we can start clicking from here, have it go through there, and as you can see, it snapped, so it will go along this. And then you keep going. Let's have it going over here, and let's have it stop there for the moment, because we can add, as before, the gate. There we go. Now, in order to align the gate properly, we will just hit that node, drag that across, and there we go, there's the gate. And very nice and simple. Obviously, that is not a normal path in any sort of geography or any architecture, but it is in my world. So, and then what you can do, click on any part of the path. So there, okay, we need some cottages. Press R, boom, cottages. Press F, we have cottages on the other side, and that is the start of your city. Now, of course, you could have that splinter off again. So let's do a paved road and have it splinter off this way. So there we go. Have it splinter off. There we go. And then we have some new villages. Oh, some new cottages rather. Now, you don't just need to do it that way. So, we don't need main roads everywhere, because, of course, in an actual city, there isn't main roads everywhere. Sometimes there are little paths. Prints, or small stone path, or small dirt path. Let's go small. So, let's say, okay, there is a alley going up this way. So, let's just click and drag the same way. And I don't know why I'm doing really snaky paths, I'll be honest. But there we go. And now we've got a little path. Now, unlike the road, you can't click on this and... Oh, actually, you can. All right. Maybe. And I can add cottages. Nice and easy. That actually took me a surprise, because normally it doesn't let me do that. And right, so what we can do now, but you don't just have to do it that way. That's the thing. You can just go to Object Tool, and you see here, there's a bit called hut. You also got tents, but we'd do a hut. Pop that down there. Let's rotate it with Q. Do. And E. Put that down, and there we go. And as you see, it's animated as well. Nice and easy. So as you see, that was very quick, and that is very simple, and it's a lovely art style as well. Let's say, all right, that's cool. We need to have a market. This will be a very basic kind of your village market, but as you see, market. You go to plot tool, market, and the same thing we did for the lake. Let's say we've got the market in this little thing here. Let's turn off snap to paths, otherwise it keep trying to connect to that path. And just follow that line there. Keep that going. And then once we're done, right click, and there we go. There is your market. Very nice and very simple. Now, obviously, this is a lot easier to do with small villages because a lot of the art is very reminiscent of a small village, but you can use this for cities as well, hence the walls. You can also do custom buildings. So path tool, and as you can see here, you can see thatch roof, wooden roof, or uh, tile roof. So we'll just do a wooden roof. And the same as you've done the path, you will just click there and click down, and as you can see, oh look, there it is. And then you can have it do a right angle. And there you go. So you can make your own custom buildings as well. So you don't have to just use them, you can make your own custom buildings. But that is Canvas of Kings. It's an app that I haven't used before, but I will be using now I've purchased it. And it's a very clever tool. Alrighty, and now we're on to the last piece of software that I use. And this one is the one that does the most heavy lifting. This is my note-taking program. This is called Obsidian. It's, unlike the rest, it is free. And it is a very, very good system. You can adapt it, you can change it. As you can see here, I have it set up a certain way. Now, it doesn't start like this as default. There are some plugins that you can do, and you can make it look a certain way. Now, this is very much inspired, and this uses a lot of the things I learned by watching Josh Plunkett, who does a lot of Obsidian for ttrpgs. I will link their channel in the description as well. And by using that, I've made my own note-taking system, and this is how I do all my D&D notes. As you can see here, I've got an encounter that just happened, where my party fought some chain devils and some shadow demons. That shadow demon is dead, but that's fine. And this allows me to view my characters. So let's go to Alec, as I described previously, and because I have it set up, I will see their sheet in D&D Beyond as well. Uh, and it's just such a easy thing. I've tried to use so many different note-taking softwares. But this is the one that I found the simplest. I mean, it's free as well. That makes life a lot simpler as well. Unlike the other two programs, this one you don't have to pay anything for. Uh, and it's a great tool. The ability to, as you saw there, just go on any page and click away, and it will hyperlink on something else. So I obviously have all my recently modified NPCs. So they just spoke with, um, oh, he's not here, but there was an MC called Ardwell, but they're going on their way to try and deal with Malakar. Now, I have this set up. Now, this layout is from a YouTuber channel called Bag of Tips. Bagtips, he does templates for Obsidian, and this allows this made it so much simpler for me because I wouldn't have been able to do this in a well at all. But I have it laid out a certain way. Now, some things I've adapted and I've adjusted. So I've kind of combined the bag of tips template also with what Josh Plunkett does by putting the stat sheets at the bottom as well that make it nice and simple. But yeah, I'm not taking any sort of that's not me being smart. I just use the tutorials that others have given me. But using those tutorials, I've obviously got all the mechanics in. I don't often need these. Sorry, CLI. I don't often need these because I know quite a few of them anyway. But if there's any rule I wasn't particularly sure of, I can just go here and find it. Or I can go on here, the 5e side screen. Again, this is from a vault that you can download as part with Josh Plunkett. You do have to subscribe to his Patreon. Once that's done, you can download this and you can add it onto your own campaign. And this allows me to check movement, check conditions. I said I'm not going to go too much into it because Josh Plunkett would describe it a lot better than I would. So by all means, check out their channel. But this is the main thing I use, and it is very nice. This is a little hint for my second campaign that I will be doing eventually. Um, but yeah, that is everything. This is the other bit of software that I use mainly. I've used many other software in the past. So for maps previously, I've done stuff like Dungeon Draft. I have used Incarnate. As you can see, that is clearly Incarnate. This was a map someone else created, and I cloned and edited it. That is nothing I did myself. Anyway, back to the video as normal. To use any of these software, find what works well for you. But this is what I found worked well for me. Um, but yeah, that is the video. I hope everyone enjoys it. I hope it's educational in some way. But yeah, I hope everyone has a good rest of your day. Bye bye.